Good morning, everybody. Well, good day. It's not morning, it's like almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But I was out of bread. It's like 15 degrees outside right now, and I really didn't want to get out to go anywhere, especially to the store. I'm warm and comfy right here. And I got to thinking, what are the different kinds of bread that I could bake at home? And I wanted to do something a little different. And then I happened to remember my crock pot. This is a 50-year-old crock pot. I bought it back in 1975, before I ever came to Texas. And it's got a bread and cake baker pan inside. And I had it in there warming up, so it's not ice cold to put my bread in. So I decided I was going to go ahead and make me some crock pot white bread. And first of all, what you do is heat up your crock pot on high for about 30 minutes, get it good and hot, and then start mixing your ingredients. And I've had hot water or warm water in this bowl, heating up the bowl because I didn't want it ice cold for when I put my ingredients in there. First of all, we're going to put a teaspoon of white sugar. I'm going to put it right down in our bowl. And then I'm going to take some dry active yeast, and I'm going to put 2 1/4 teaspoons of this in here. Find my quarter cup, little measuring thing. And now we're going to put 1/4 cup warm water. Get my measuring cup. I've had my water running to where it will get a little warm. Let's warm this cup up because it's freezing cold today. Everything in the house is cold. But you know, by the time you put lukewarm water in a freezing cold cup, and now we're just going to pour that in there, and we're going to let it sit until it bubbles up. And I got part of my yeast up on the side, but that's okay. See if I can get it down in there. Needs to be stirred in anyway. Just mixing it up good. And just let it sit and let it bubble up. Now, this is a cookbook that came with my crock pot back in 1975 when I bought it. See, top crock pot cooking. And it's a rival. And it says in the instructions, only use this insert for your bread and cake in a rival crock pot. I don't know what the difference might be, but there might be some difference in the temperature settings, or maybe the pot itself. I have no idea. But you want to heat it up on high for 30 minutes. It says just let it stand until it bubbles and foams, and then add egg, oil, and more lukewarm water. which you'll have about a cup of lukewarm water, an egg, and then a quarter cup of oil. So I can go ahead and get the oil. Well, I'll use this. I got it handy right here anyway, so. A quarter cup of cooking oil. Now you can use what kind of oil you want. That's totally up to you. I'm going to get another cup. I always forget to get my measuring cups out. You know me, there's always something I forget to get in a video. No matter how well I think I'm prepared, I'm not prepared usually. It smells good, and it is starting to bubble. But on this cold day, I don't know with even heating the bowl up, because the bowl's already cold. Now we need another cup. And we're going to add another 1/4 cup sugar to this. Let's see if I can find my sugar bag. It is bubbling up, so we're going to add our 1/4 cup of cooking oil. And I just always use olive oil when I have it. 1/4 cup of white sugar. We're going to put in 1 egg. I'm going to break that in here just to make sure. Yeah, I know they're always good. The only time I've ever had a problem with egg is if I've accidentally left them in the refrigerator too long. Somehow one got bypassed, and when I did crack it open, it was not good. Rinse those out because I'm going to need those. Alright, let's see now. We've got our egg, we've got our 1/4 cup of sugar, we've got a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, and we're going to add 2 cups of flour. Get me 2 cups of flour out of my jar here. You know what? I think I'm going to put the dough hook on. I mean, I'm not going to actually do the whole process in there, I don't think, but I've not tried this dough hook, so. Do that with 2 minutes with an electric mixer. You can use any kind. And you'll need another cup. Let's see, how much did it say? A cup and a half? Yeah, about another cup and a half to about another cup and a half of flour. You may not need it all. We're going to add 1 cup of lukewarm water. Let me get my dough all down in there. Some of it went up on the sides. And we do need to grease our baking sheet or baking pan. And I almost scooped up because you were supposed to put that cup of water in there before you started mixing it. Now, one thing it says to do, we're not going to use the dough hook anymore. We're going to gradually add in 1.5 to 2 cups more of flour, and we're going to stir it or mix it together with a wooden spoon. That's what it calls for, a wooden spoon. What I think I'm going to put this mixer in it, because since I didn't add the water actually when I was supposed to, it's got a few lumps. And I don't want it lumpy when I add the other. That is better. I'm going to try it the way they said, just use a wooden spoon and gradually add in more flour, the rest of the flour. And you put it in the same bowl, you don't have to dirty another bowl. And what you want to do is just add enough flour, or add the flour till it pulls away from the outside edges of the bowl. Ooh, that's pretty hard. I don't know. I may use my dough hook for this. Add that little bit of I'm not used to my mixer, y'all, but I was going by what the directions said. I may not have to add any more. There, it pulled away. Now we gotta grease down our little baking pan for our crock pot. And like I said, I'm gonna do it with butter. I just got butter on the end of this paper towel. And I'm just spreading it all around my little pan, my bread pan. It's been years since I've tried to use this. I'm a little rusty on it. What I was amazed at is you don't have to let your bread rise or anything. Now, after it pulls away, it says, put the flour until dough leaves the side of the bowl. Place dough in a well-greased bread and bake pan. Cover, place in crock pot. Cover, bake on high for 2 to 2.5 hours, or until edges are browned. Remove from pan, uncover, and let stand for 5 minutes. So we're going to put our dough right down in there. If you can see that, it's going to plop right in there. Hopefully. I got to get my spoon to get the rest of it out. Got it on the sides, and I didn't mean to do that. So we're letting the mixer and the crock pot do all the work. I am going to get that little bit of dough right off the top of my pan. I don't want it up there because it'll cook right on the rim, and I don't want it cooking up there. Yeah, I bought this crock pot the year my son was born. So trying to get every little bit of it right off the top because I don't want it to cook on the top of it. Well, I got all this dough up here. Can't you tell I'm a professional at this? Oh well, I'll fool with that later. But what we're going to do is we're going to put our little lid, and it has like a little catch. Little levers on the side that it'll keep it on there like that. We're just going to put it in there, put the lid on it, and we're going to leave it for 2 to 2.5 hours on high. And when we come back, we should have a nice loaf of 50-year-old crock pot bread. Well, it's been 2 hours and 10 minutes, and I checked this a little while ago. Ooh. I don't know if it's done, but I forgot to grease the top of that, and it stuck to the top. And when I took the lid off to check it, it stuck. So I lost my pretty brown top. But the bread's still going to be good. I think it's pretty well done. But I'm supposed to leave it uncovered for 5 minutes, and then we can, get it out of this pan. And this is the little cooling rack that comes with it. I'm not sure, it hasn't been 5 minutes, so I'm not sure that, but yeah, this flour rises way more than I anticipated. I don't remember what kind of flour I used to use in it, whether it was self-rising or not. But I did use self-rising flour in this. And you can see it rose up and it went all the way to the top. And I forgot to grease up the lid. So my bread stuck, and when I took the lid off, I had to clean out the top of my bread because it was cooked to the top of that. So I will remember next time to grease the top of, the top of it, so it doesn't do that. Now let's see if we can get this inverted here. And I need my glove out of there. But that is kind of hot. Woo! We got it sideways, y'all. Got it a little sideways. Well, I'm getting hung up on everything. But there's my loaf of bread. It's too hot to cut right this minute. But we're going to let it cool just a tiny bit before I try to cut it. I've unplugged my crock pot, so it'll be cooling off. But isn't that pretty? I mean, how's that for a loaf of bread, y'all? And you just turn it over and slice it off the ends of it. I mean, I think that's pretty good. How's that for a loaf of bread? Made in the crock pot. Look at that. I think it's going to be good. And, you wouldn't think to make bread in a crock pot, especially a yeast bread, where you don't even knead it or anything. I mean, you just simply mix it all up in your mixer, your bowl, and put it right in the crock pot and cook it. And in 2 to 2.5 hours, you got a loaf of bread. And then when it cools off, I will put it in my bread box over there. But yeah, the top of it was a nice golden brown like that too. But like I said, I forgot to grease the top of it. And it stuck to the lid. And when I took the lid off, it was just cooked to the lid. Whereas if I'd have oiled it good before I put it on there, it would have maybe touched the lid, but it would not have cooked to it. And it probably would have browned on the top too as well. So that's something to think about if you got one of these. I don't know how many people today have a liner for their crock pot that you can cook cake or a bread, a loaf of bread in. But it's an odd looking shape for a, a loaf of bread, but that's a loaf of bread, y'all. You just turn it over on its side, slice it down, and then you can cut the slices in half or however you want to do it. And it makes some good bread. I was going to try to let it cool and cut it so you could see the inside, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that or not. Don't know if I'll be able to do that because it's not cooled off yet. I might let it cool and then cut it. I wanted to bring you back I'm going to go ahead and try to slice it. I'm going to slice it a little thin, maybe. Slice it right down on the top. I mean, look at that. I mean, if it hadn't been for the top of it sticking, it would have been a perfect slice. But since it's stuck, it kind of ripped into the top of it. But look at there how nice that looks. Look at that. Mmm. That is good, y'all. That is a good loaf of bread right there. But I just wanted to show you that. Look how nice that is.